the best, not
TC and Jake.
No, sir, not even a little bit. Welcome in, folks. It's our MLB preview show. Not sure if we're going to have time for the NL. Might have to push that off to another podcast episode. But we'll certainly be going through, talking as much baseball as we can. Pitchers and catchers are all there. They're all here.
They're all here.
They're all here.
Man, we don't need to do anything to preview the AL other than just listen to Kevin Mathis's Rotary Club call again.
What's that?
So I'm going to send you one more here.
Okay. Is it Kevin Mathis's Rotary call?
No, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you I know that guy's name because he's not their actual GM. Kevin Mathis was a minority owner and was like their president.
Okay.
He's been there a long time.
For some reason, I thought the way you said that the person's name was Kevin Mathis. I don't remember exactly what it was you said.
Kevin Mather, sorry.
Yeah.
My bad, yeah. I literally had never heard of this guy before 3 days ago.
Me neither.
Okay. But I made it, Blake cut the audio, but I made it about 35 minutes through the 45 minutes, and it was action fucking packed, man.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, like, you see the headline, and then whenever you read the article, you're like, oh boy, that headline writer had a hard job.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not going to be able to sum this up in one sentence.
Yeah, you need a new tab at the top, like the Ringer when they do in-game NBA draft. I always love that that's their play. Like, dude, we get what you guys think is cool, and usually you're right, but just to blow it out for, like, new Beyonce album, like, you've got the new tab.
Yeah. No, I just, living with a good friend who's a fan of the Mariners. I don't know their leadership structure, but I do have a keen understanding of how, it's weird, dude. There's like a lot of weird people doing weird stuff that like have power, but it's unclear what. Isn't the owner like passed away recently, right? But I thought it was the Nintendo guy.
Japanese guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right. I know this guy's ownership stake has grown.
And I think that he just kind of like sits in Japan, and I mean, not now, but like, just
not now. Well, you might.
People couldn't tell like exactly like. Just if there was a clear owner like living in Seattle that like the people all had to report to, but it was more like we don't see him, and so this like one guy that was like I think the president of the team was some kind of like former military person.
Oh hell yeah!
That had a lot of strong opinions. The kind of guy that you don't want to leave unchecked.
That seems like a really healthy org flow chart. That's just some speak you probably need to get familiar with, business boy.
Yeah,
the org flow chart.
I know more about orgs and flow than you'll ever will.
That's fucking nonsense, and you know it. That's absolute nonsense. I learned everything I know about business from Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni.
Yeah. I hope to learn more, but yeah.
So a quick look at the collection. Account value at $56.44. Which means my profit right now is $40.60. So I put in roughly $1,500, and this is based on lowest ask. So probably that's if you did plus on some, minus on others, about straight up. And I don't know what the number is where I'm just like, this is stupid, F it. Like I've made $4,000 and I don't want to just take this right now. I've never made that much on anything.
It's because, you made $4,000. Now you're like, I don't want to get off this money train. I don't want to give up this feeling.
But I know that you need to have a number in mind beforehand, even if you F it up later.
Okay, well, what was your number?
I think probably I thought whenever I first saw the value of some of these, how quickly they went up. And it's stagnated a little bit in the last couple of days because they're getting fucking wrecked by traffic. Like, they've grown too fast. So these have pretty much
Classic
been the same for a couple days.
problem.
It's a classic workflow problem. You know what? There were market factors that they didn't fully anticipate. I think it's 10 grand.
Okay. What are you going to do then? How much cocaine does 10 grand buy?
Well, you just put most of it back in Bitcoin, and then that's a little more of a stable thing. You might take a few of it, throw it
That's the stable thing.
throw it in
Jesus
529C.
Christ.
This Luca card that was $640, dude. and I can show you people buying these right now. The lowest asked price is $41.50. That's the bulk of my portfolio here. Not very diverse. That's the only one I have that's like worth a lot. And it's
see, I continue to think that you just need to hand that down to Noro whenever it's time. It's Luca, dude.
That is interesting.
Are you a fan or are you a fucking investor?
Transferring NFTs, cryptocurrency. We got business talk going on right in there right now.
Yeah, I think so.
That's unfortunate.
I hate to see it.
Company secrets.
Another person succumb to business.
I have 2 videos to play for you. I want to have some fun here. The first one.
I do too.
I bet 90% of the people listening to this podcast have seen this one before. It's very E-Bombs world, and in fact, the YouTube upload date is 2007.
It is, yeah.
Now, I thought
I had heard of YouTube in 2007, but recently.
Yeah, it was still Girl
I heard
on
about
Cat
it in 2006 because there was a guy whose identity, his whole identity was, I drive a Volkswagen.
And that was
Volkswagen.
Okay.
Like, it's
What's
one
wrong with
thing
that?
if it's like I own a Corvette or whatever.
No, there's nothing wrong. You can live any truth you want in any brand, any make, model of
But
vehicle.
he had a Volkswagen hatchback. He had the plates on, like he had the European plates on it.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's a German car, so you really want the full authentic experience as you're driving down fucking, Jupiter Road.
So what was his content like?
Well, he showed up one day and was like, have you guys seen that Volkswagen commercial? And we were like, no. And he was like, okay, pull it up. Go to YouTube, just check out YouTube. And I was like, I'm learning about a lot of new things. Volkswagen ad I hadn't heard of. YouTube.
That seems like the worst use of a emerging technology possible to show your friend's car ads.
I mean,
unless it's da. Because da went. That's still probably one of my favorite commercials of all time.
No,
was just going to be like showing off the features. Like what the fuck?
No, it's a joke commercial. Like it's the intent of the commercial is to be humorous.
You should have just played da. Bum, 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 bum. I think I just mixed up 2 songs.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna be able to.
All
find
right. So, anyways, this first video was played. Was posted to YouTube in 2007. Mm-hmm. It's very KRLD. Baby in the Dumpster hot dog report.
That's a favorite
and
one.
I don't know how I haven't seen this, but someone sent it to me and had the same thing of like, I feel like I've been on the internet doing nothing but watching vids for 15 years and I haven't seen this, and I think it's funny.
A Boise, Idaho woman is considered a medical miracle. Laura Esterman was struck by lightning nearly a month ago, and she was considered officially dead. Thankfully, CPR from her mom revived her heart, but she laid in a coma for 2 weeks, and then she defied all odds and woke up.
Wow.
I should buy
Well, obviously, there's a problem with that tape. She doesn't really sound like that. She doesn't remember the
Okay, all right, good. I don't know what the effects of being struck by lightning are.
Laura's learning to walk again after the lightning burned her legs. And we'll have more on that story and hopefully get that tape fixed for you.
God bless her. did he say anything while I was laughing that was important? Or just the general tone of,
I think it's when he
sorry
goes
about the
down
video. Anyway, she's learning to walk again.
I think when he kind of goes down to bite the pen.
Yeah.
Ooh, and he says, she doesn't really sound like that. Oh, man. Yeah, I've given that a few spins over the last few weeks.
Unpimp Your Ride. That's the. How long is this? Well, this might be a bad idea.
Listen up, V-Dub in the house.
Oh, I remember this.
Jason, this is your 98. Call it.
You got an F.
You know what we're gonna do now?
No.
Unpimp your auto.
So do you feel like this was worth showing to your friends in 2006?
We just dropped it like it's hot.
That's a
V-Dub
current
representing Deutschland.
There you go. Yeah. I'm not going to make you watch all of them.
Man.
Representing Deutschland was one of his big catchphrases at the time.
So many poor marketing meetings.
He's a nice guy. I hope he's doing great.
Where'd you know him
I think
from?
he was a ticket listener. I mean, he went to school in the areas I went to school with. It was mutual friends.
Yeah, that's like every single.
Like I never hung out at his
bad.
house. He never hung out at my house. But we certainly had a friend who we both would hang out at their house plenty, and he would also be there. No, this was immediately after getting out of
speed
Excel.
there. I don't even. It's been so long since I've.
I was probably like 9 years from having even one single plume of that delicious weed smoke touching my lips.
Now, this other one you've almost certainly seen. Because I think it was pretty much in conjunction with the Britney doc coming out. But it's still.
Oh, yeah, we went over this
the other night.
I mean, I have seen it because you sent it to me before and said you have to play this.
Yeah.
So that was how I saw it.
We actually did this on the podcast?
No, it was on the Twitch stream.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was going to say.
Okay. You just said you might have seen this.
We've got an audience.
Could you have done differently? I mean, you mean as far as when people
Well,
said,
I
This
think
is a
that
wild ride.
he hung Janet
Yeah,
out
her
to
needs to
dry.
get
Yeah,
ready.
that particularly, I mean, I don't take that.
In case it's not clear, it's someone talking to Justin Timberlake, I believe within months of him exposing Janet Jackson's breast to all of American television audiences.
The someone is a guy that I don't
Or
remember.
just exposing a nipple pasty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy was my least favorite VJ.
Okay.
He always seemed way too serious, you know? I don't want serious MTV.
I don't
Unless
remember
it's Serena
him really.
Altschul. This guy was he was one of the, probably had an editorial position.
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely locked up for the Janet
That's
Jackson
true.
thing. Although was physically closer to it than you were, unless you were at your dad's house for that Super Bowl.
No, I was not. That was a Reliant game, NRG.
Yeah. This is the first one.
That's just people talking, and that's what they'll do. I don't take that to heart, but what I do take to heart in the bigger picture of it is I'm a part of a community. I'm a part of a community that consider themselves artists. And if there was something that I could have done in her defense that was more, that I could have realized, then I would have. But the other half of me thought to myself, wow, like we still haven't found the weapons of mass destruction.
I mean, it's one of those things where you break down
Left
each
hand,
component.
right hand, you know?
And I mean, I guess the first one, you know, like there's some amount of uncertainty, you know, like we can't know it's in his heart, but I believe him whenever he says that if it occurred to him to do more, he would have done it.
Yeah.
It's just a lack of imagination, really.
Yeah.
And it is also true that we have currently not found the weapons of mass destruction that we were promised were in Iraq.
It's really more just the marrying
Just that
of
bridge.
the two. Yeah. it
I don't
becomes-
see a bridge there at all. Man's just
Maybe the bombs, the
walking
weapons of,
on air over a river.
Yeah.
I don't know what's gonna go on. Yeah.
So good. But then I'm like, yo.
I'd like this clip is not nearly enough.
Oh, I know. I feel like you need to do some Oprah digging.
Yeah, and just like watching the entire show, whatever this is, that would be great. But what I really want, and will never have, is I'm sure that his publicist was watching this. She doesn't watch every interview that Justin Timberlake does, but surely the big ones like this. This is like we're having meetings, like
We're in
figuring
crisis
out how to
prevention.
say it. And so I want to know, like, was this their idea? Seems much more likely that he just kind of
Saw a
like
butterfly.
got squirrely in the moment, was like, I got to try it. Very Brett Favre. And if that's the case, then I'm paying all I have to get a video of that, just when the words come out of his mouth. But then there's a part of me that's like, we haven't even found the weapons of mass destruction yet.
What are you going to do about that, JT?
Perpetually true. I hope to be able to remember that clip well enough to work it into conversation in the future.
I have a brief insurance follow-up for you.
Okay.
We were talking about this the other day.
We were talking about the concept of insurance.
About I think we were more talking Sunday on Patreon episode, just about now that everyone has power and water, what dealing with insurance might turn into. A dude hit me up, said, in December of 2015, a tornado hit Rowlett. I live in the area and went out volunteering to help the neighborhoods that were damaged. After we got people's belongings out and into storage or whatever, the majority of my time was spent helping to clear totaled houses from their slabs because insurance would only pay to rebuild a house once the slab was clear and wouldn't pay to get it cleared. It was pretty crazy having to tear down shit and carry it to the curb for the trash people to pick up because insurance wouldn't cover that.
Yeah, that sucks. That's fucking terrible. That's the average insurance tale, I feel. I do have to speak to my own experience, honestly, which was that whenever we got our roof damaged, the insurance people were reasonable and it all went smoothly, and I enjoyed the process as much as you could enjoy. Yeah,
I think it's probably a matter of the more dynamic your claim is. Like if you get water damage, you may have to get any number of things fixed.
Yeah, tornado took off my roof is probably something that the ones in Texas know what they're doing, and that's a pretty straightforward.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, but if your whole house is down, but then the slab's there, and they're like, I still see a house. To me, that's a house. That's actually like the bottom part, which is you probably couldn't do the rest of it.
Kind of the best part, yeah.
So if that's still there, you're
like
not getting the money.
hanging out on your roof? No.
All right, well then will you come take this part out? No, I won't. I will replace that part after you take it out with volunteer help.
Sure, we live in a world with rules.
Yeah.
And the rules say if you got a house, as I'm seeing.
It's also fucked up.
Yeah, no, I pulled up this article, but I'm not going to be able to read it fast enough to give you this information accurately, so I'll just give you the general overview. The concept of insurance, I believe, was somewhat introduced by a man named Bernard J. Danzer. And he had a grandson named Ben who encountered some troubles early in his life and was sent to the Excel Academy in Conroe, Texas.
Look at that.
He was there, he got there probably younger than I was. I think that he was like 12 or 13. And then I think his sophomore year of high school, they judged him to be doing well enough that he was ready. He was ready to go. Left for 3 months. Then they put him back.
Hell yeah. Sounds like about the average recidivism rate for this fine establishment.
That happened a couple times throughout my time there. It became more common, but he was the first to do the go out and then have to go back. And it is literally what I have nightmares about. Like,
still,
being there is tough. Being like, you got to go back. That's,
You probably earned that second tech if you're being if you're going back.
His points in.
Yeah, for sure.
No, we've all heard tales of what those 3 months were like. Yeah.
I'm gonna ask a really dumb question because that's what I do. Am I to learn that the concept of insurance is not like
it's got to be like Roman times.
Yeah.
But modern insurance is surely different.
And that's, I guess, how I don't. But the idea of,
to find him, I just typed in I typed in his last name, and I know the college he went to, and I know it always pulls up because Fordham is the college, fairly large university. I'm not in enrollment, but you've heard of Fordham before.
In the tournament. And
they just have him in their Hall of Honor. So you tell me how much he did for insurance. He's in the Hall of Honor at a prestigious Bronx-based educational institution.
Did they add anything in there about the 3 months?
I don't think Ben comes up.
Also, one time, a few generations later.
Yeah, that guy was fucking great. Big fan of Ben. One of the most individual, brilliant people I've ever met in my life.
How'd things work out?
He's still alive and he's making the best of it.
That's
and we all
pretty
got
much
a lot of hopes.
All I was asking really was if he's still alive.
He's free now.
Okay. So he was always alive, but he wasn't always in control of his own agency. And
he was at times a guest of the Department of Corrections and at times not. And I believe right now it's a not, and I am grateful for that.
Well,
so I went to my favorite. This is a small, short anecdote.
Okay.
That just from my life that I thought you might enjoy. Nothing big. Don't want to oversell.
Okay.
I went to my favorite taqueria, La Nueva Fresh and Hot. Mm-hmm. It's exceptional. I never ended up tweeting out the link, I don't think, but the Observer did write about it. I was very happy whenever that happened.
I've been a few times. I had to figure out whether or not they were offended if I ordered in Spanish or not.
So that's where we're going.
Okay.
Because like it's I go there a lot, and at this point I've sort of got down like which of the people behind the cash register have like you can order in English and which of them you can't, because some of them like they'll tell you like, I don't know what you're saying, this is Greek to me. And I mean, like, whatever.
And even if they do, I don't care.
I know how to say bean and cheese burrito in Spanish, so it's not a problem. But yeah, so that's a really... I love a bean and cheese taco from a solid taqueria, but that's just a depressing order. What? But I mean, I guess you were the guy who once released a Google Maps doc on cheese enchiladas. I don't just get like just bean and cheese. It's just, but I would say it is their best dish because I've been over this many times. I think I've thumped my chest about this on the podcast before. Their tortillas are the best in the city by far. And so whenever you go with the bean and cheese, it really forefronts that tortilla taste. There's no meat that's fighting with it. It's just all kind of flowing in this one delicious direction. I think it goes great. And then their chorizo and cheese, they just put a big old slab of cheese down there and then a little bit of chorizo suspended in it. And wrap it in one of those tortillas, and I love it. What's the green pork one? I mean, they have a guisada verde. Okay, that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, that one is hot. That's basically that's a bowl of soup, and somewhere in there's a tortilla. Yes. My car fucking reeked. That's not one you should be eating in your car, and it reeked for like a week. Yeah, but it's a good reek. Oh God. But yeah, so most of the time I will walk in, attempt to like. It's like you're saying. I think it's like. It's its own special kind of insult if you're looking at it in a certain way. Like, some people definitely think that whenever you walk in and like be like, well, I'll take the burden off of you, I'll just start speaking Spanish, that's the most considerate way to go about it. That's a decent idea sometimes, but my thing is more like, it's kind of insulting. Like, I feel like it could be sending the message, you don't know English. Right. So I don't want to just presume you don't know English. So I will usually walk in, order in English. If it looks like it's not like going well, then I'll just repeat it in Spanish. But like the previous customer was just speaking in Spanish, and I'm at this point like confidently able to deliver my order in Spanish. So I just like 2 frijole queso burrito, uno chorizo and cheese burrito. But you did go with 2. I think I said dos. Okay. I did say dos. I mean, just make sure you get the ones you know, at least, right? And then she kind of, just previously I'd only given the order like that, and then I'll revert to English because it's clear enough what my meaning is, right? And it's not important to me whether or not you get the exact details of me saying thank you, whereas like the details of the order are more essential part of the conversation. And then she stopped and she was like, "You think I don't speak English, mate?" That would have been great. But this is the first time where I'd gone the whole way in Spanish so far. So she kind of looked up at me expectantly, and it was one of those things where just like it all happened so fast that I didn't know what I was doing. And I was just like, "Es todo." You didn't get your whole order? No, that was the order. I just wanted to, it was just a little quick lunch. Okay. So, just letting her know, like normally I would have been like, "Nah, that's all I want." Or just that kind of giving a hand motion. But I was like, "Es todo." Oh my God. And just the confidence and the like, yeah, I speak Spanish. It's not a big deal. I haven't been there in a long time. My Spanish is very shaky. But at one point I was taking classes on it and probably could have conversed a little bit then. But yeah, no, I felt like a native speaker whenever I'm letting her know that I'm not looking to order anymore, but using the tongue fluently to let her know. How'd she take it? Celebratory? It was just 2 Spanish speakers having a normal interaction. It wasn't like streamers fell from the. No, but she didn't look like it looked. All I want is to just have the interactions the rest of the customers around me have. Yeah. And that's rarely achieved there. Yeah. And this time I feel like we got there. So I was part of my brain was watching the other part being like, "Who the fuck are you? What's going on here? I don't recognize this." But then the other half was like, "Nice job, mate." That comes up a lot. That comes up a lot, man. It's the basis of Curb, but when it's race tinged, it always just feels a little bit dicier. Yeah.
Speaking of race tinged, I was laughing so hard to myself this morning when I saw that Coca Cola was trending.
I missed that.
And the first thing I saw was like a bunch of, I suppose, conservatives. I'm not sure. Well, I'm sure. I just don't know if it's like a part of the whole movement. And they were doing the Colin Kaepernick Nikeing move to Coca-Colas and like either pouring it in toilets or pouring it down sinks and stuff. And I was like, I got to figure this shit out.
Yeah.
So I got to the bottom of it. Well, the first thing I saw was, and I doubt that I'll be able to
figure that's a popular brand amongst them.
Amongst conservatives, I think its appeal knows no bounds. So the first thing I saw, which I don't have immediately available, was something that was like these Coke ads got to stop, and I didn't know that it was parody at first. And it was just the Coca-Cola polar bears, and as they're playing, one of them puts a dashiki on the biggest one and a BLM mask. And it's like animated very, very crudely. I was like, all right. So there's something going on here, but I don't know what it is. The next thing I found was, dude, seriously, it's really hastily done, but I'm like, all right, so that's not it. But I did briefly think to myself, is there a chance that the people that are pouring their pop down the toilet somehow saw this viral ad and thought that it was real?
Yeah.
Because I think things like that have happened before. Didn't we have the Trump fell for like a training video, right? That ultimately was like maybe was a one-off or wasn't a corporate policy or something.
Yeah, I don't know where Trump's involved with it.
It was that deal. It was a
and
we're getting to corporate training, but it was like the acceptable BLM shirts, neo-Marxist shirts. And then unacceptable any MAGA hats. And I'm pretty sure that was fake.
Okay.
So this has happened before, where the basis of it was fake.
Okay, I do remember now what people were mad at Coke about. But
their training video actually did feature a slide regarding inclusion and workplace diversity that actually did say, be less white. Try to be less white.
Are you sure? I thought it was some kind of like opportunistic screenshotting.
So it said tips on how to be less white, less arrogant, less certain, less defensive, less ignorant, and more humble.
Do you feel like the person watching it took it in as they were screenshotting it and sending it to their conservative friends?
No, but I also find it funny that they couldn't just stop at this one here.
Because I do get indignant whenever people don't pay attention to corporate training.
Do you? That's obviously it's nobody wants to lean all the way into this, but I mean, now that we've got people like critical race theory opponents weighing in, and I think that's actually how it got first shared and blew up on right-wing social media. But it's just the shit that is in the news that upsets people and cause them to pour a Coke in the toilet. It's never not funny to me.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, no, that's hilarious. Whatever steps you got to take to have people filming themselves pouring Coke in the toilet.
Then the journey you go on to get there, the parodies, the memes, the fake.
I've finished watching How To with John Wilson, and the most disgusting part of it was him throwing risotto in the toilet over and over. Why is it like looking at risotto is not gross to me, but for some reason every time he takes a spoonful and puts it in the toilet, I'm like, oh fuck, man, yeah. Come on.
Anything you put in a toilet looks just immediately, it just looks like a shit version of that.
I'm just used to, I'm like, no.
If you drop your phone in there, you're thinking to yourself, someone could have pooped that phone in there.
They probably did.
I mean, obviously a company like Coke is going to take heat for this, but I think it is telling that the mere concept of saying that you should quote, maybe they could phrase it a different way.
Yeah,
that's all it really is.
You're really loading them up. I would advise against a corporate training that included the phrase "be less white."
Yeah, I mean, I would too, but I also think that you have to
find.
Like
we should all be proud to be who we are.
Really? We just did this a couple weeks ago.
What?
Whenever we were talking about the anthem.
Against being proud of who we are?
No, but I mean, sometimes you have to include all the parts of who you are. And
I guess the distinction I was making then was between being proud and loving something. So you got to love who you are. You don't have to be proud of every part. You got to love who you are.
But the love doesn't mean you have to stand up with your hand over your heart outside of an Italian restaurant and wine bar in a downtown suburb.
No, yeah.
I should have known then. Like, none of this is getting better.
Biden won. Catholics back on top.
Oh, man.
So I have so they got away with that, huh?
I love it.
I think it's a classic one.
Good.
I think it could be the archetypal. So they got away with that, huh? Because the entire point to the segment is that we will often, like, it's one of the most frustrating things about reading the news. I wish I could, like, have a way that I filtered out unsolved things from the news. Like, if all I saw was, like, what was that? Don't Fuck with Cats.
Yeah.
If I just got to watch Don't Fuck with Cats and not 5 years beforehand read some story where you got like 2 of the details, you know what I mean? Like the Don't Fuck with Cats stuff is just so much better. They tell this rich story, you understand every part of it, extremely satisfying. And then, you know, the thing whenever we're just finding out that a guy got murdered and you're like, murdered by who? How do you have his suitcase? That's fucked up. I don't know what's going on here. I'm just left like, it's just, you know, it's like someone gave you half a puzzle, but like didn't tell you it was half a puzzle, and you put it together, and you're like, it's missing a bunch of pieces, and they're like, "Fuck you," and walk away.
Yeah.
That's how reading most of the news is, and it doesn't like, you know, it's not like it's the New York Times' fault that no one ever solves these murders, but it's a weird thing that like whenever they've recently happened, it's all we can talk about. And then whenever they're about a month out, it's just like, unless it's been solved in that time, it's just, yeah, you know, we're never going to mention this again.
Then it's what I like to call a cold case.
Yeah. And they almost are like treating you like a weirdo because what they were telling you a month ago is that this is the most important thing. We're putting it on the front page. Like your life should revolve around this. And then you're like, okay, I'm taking that in. Yeah, ready. And then whenever you ask about it a month later, you're like, hey, you remember that thing that you said was like the most important thing that day? That's still kind of big for me. And they're like, yeah, we're not publishing shit on that. You're fucking weird. I don't even think that happened, dude, to be honest.
It is a weird thing. I mean, I guess that's just, you know, it's called the news.
Yeah, no,
So I
can see the inescapability of it, but there's probably ways to. I mean, I just think that they should be constantly publishing things of like, hey, you remember that thing we told you about a couple weeks ago? Here's where it's at. And like a lot of times it hasn't moved much, but I don't know, fucking interview a detective or something.
It would appear in an odd twist that this godforsaken medium that we find ourselves on here is actually like the best at this.
I'd say it's the best in every possible way.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I don't know if any Netflix documentaries have gotten things solved.
Certainly if the New York Times did podcasts, they wouldn't run into any trouble at all.
Oh, dude. I wanted my fucking money back, man.
Did you listen to that one?
Yeah, dude. Not only did I listen to it, I read the book that guy's...
Did you really?
Yeah, dude.
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
The ISIS book?
Yeah.
Yeah, I read that book. I can't even remember what it's called now. But the main cleric that they're... I mean, there's several main clerics, but he's definitely one of the biggest ones. He's the one that was like... Was it Graham something?
You want to know about ISIS? I'll tell you about ISIS. He's just making stuff up. He's never even been
Graham
to the Middle
Wood.
East.
Yeah.
You trusted that there was a cleric named Graham Wood.
Nah, Graham Wood's the writer.
Okay.
But I do think that the cleric was possibly like Australian. But, you know,
we love Allah, mate.
Was no longer called Australian. You know, he's no longer going by Crocodile Dundee. But yeah, so what's this one?
This one is the Sherman double homicide. I did not remember their names. Didn't even remember Sherman, but we're talking about Barry and Honey Sherman. You remember this yet? Barry and Honey Sherman doesn't ring any bells?
No.
He's a pharmaceutical magnate who's Canadian, who was murdered in his home with his wife. They were both found hanging from an area near their indoor pool. Initially identified as a murder-suicide, But a lot of pushback from friends and family, and then the cops looked a little harder, and the evidence actually added up to a targeted double homicide.
Was this like, did it involve their kids at all?
They had kids.
Okay. I was trying to think there was a...
They were forefronted in the news, certainly.
There was a story, then that's not this one though. There was a story I was trying to think that this made me think of where, but I think this might have been like a robbery that went wrong and they like ordered pizza to the house or something with the family like dead inside. And it was like a really well-to-do industry murder, but that ain't this one then. Because I think the kids might have been involved.
This was around
here.
Christmas in 2017.
Jeez, that recently?
I thought you would have remembered this.
Sorry, man.
No, I mean, you know, I guess it's speaking to what I was saying because I don't know that we like would have talked about it extensively, but I bet that we offhand mentioned it. Oh, the home's already been demolished. God damn, that sucks. I mean, you know,
probably could have got a deal.
Family get what they get, or you know, like that's what they wanted, so that's good.
That's a proper clarification.
Yeah. No, I realized that the thing I said and the thing I meant were two different things. I needed to reconcile the two. It was a personal reconciliation, Bill. That's a nerdy ass joke. Not even really a joke, but so yeah, it was a big deal. I mean, you know, like it was fucking billionaire gets got, and no one knows why. And the follow-up is that like they got away with that, huh? Whoever fucking killed this couple. Late last year, the Toronto police announced that they had a person of interest. So I would say that if you're looking at it 3 years later, like, you know, the big rule, as we all know, is 48 hours. If you don't know within 48 hours.
Oh, yeah.
So how do you feel if it's been 3 fucking years?
That's tons of hours.
It's many hours. And the most they have is person of interest. I would say you got away with it. He's not even a suspect. No arrests were made. And like, it was a person of interest like in November. It's fucking February. They've done nothing further.
Explain that term to me.
I mean, I think it's probably a legal thing, right? Of like, if you say someone's a suspect, that's going to bring certain things on their life. And so if you misidentify suspects, classic Richard Jewell thing, he got a lot of money.
Who the fuck, whenever they hear somebody's a person of interest, is like, let's see how this plays out.
Tap the brakes. No, you're right.
We here, the court of public opinion, would like to exercise restraint in condemning the husband who has only been named a person of interest.
Yeah.
It feels like there must be some law enforcement reason for why they can do it, gather leads about you without having you sue them or some shit like that, right? Like, everybody should be a person of interest in theory. I just always thought that was a very odd term.
You make
to
a
me.
good point.
It seems a bit euphemistic.
Yeah, they were last seen alive on December 13, 2017. 2 days later, realtors were taking buyers through the home that they were trying to sell.
Hey,
turned a corner and there was
iron
two
is hot.
Two bodies hanging from the rafters.
There's a feature over here that will come in handy around Halloween.
That one would be Jesus. That'd be tough. You wouldn't forget that.
No, but I would move into a home where someone was murdered.
Especially that one. It's got an indoor pool, dude.
And of course,
what's better? What's more luxurious than an indoor pool? I can't think of anything.
It seems like a massive beating, dude. It is awesome.
Someone else is beating. You're fucking rich. You're not touching the equipment. No one who has an indoor pool. If you have an indoor pool and you're like sweating the maintenance, then like you fucked up. You made some bad decisions.
Jesus Christ! Look at this pump is through the roof.
Yeah.
Throttle the water. Stop heating it.
No, if you own an indoor pool, you should be able to build an indoor pool like every couple months.
I would probably go with half pipe. But
half pipe is more luxurious. Yeah, I don't know. I knew some kids who had a half pipe. It didn't look that luxurious.
I don't know, man. It's pretty sweet. This is a good list to come back to.
No, I don't know. There's a full half pipe, just some ramps.
So I would live in the home, but also I absolutely understand the family saying that after that happened there, they want it just just demolished. Now, I don't know how that...
And that's a special kind of rich as well. Yeah. No, I mean, he's a billionaire.
Right. So it's not like they have to worry about, hey, we got to flip this.
That was why this is a story, you know? Like, poor guy gets killed in his home.
Did we know anything about, if I missed this, tell me about items taken?
I don't believe so. He's the it was a generic drug maker, Apotex Incorporated. And his wife were big philanthropists.
Yeah, man,
maybe
it's
he made the do.
You know about that? You sneak it into your bag?
Just a little pop of codeine.
That's so good. Yeah,
Chris Berman explaining that he had been excited to be assigned to a Blue Jays game earlier because he knew he had a Jets Monday night game coming up and wanted to be high on opiates to do the halftime show of it.
I feel like that was one of my early visits to Kissing Susie Colbert.
Yeah?
Like that sort of video.
Yeah.
That's some E-bomb era for you.
Yeah, that was good. That was really good.
Would you live in a home where something like that happened?
100%.
I mean, I guess you have to get into different home prices, just percentages off or not enough. But I would wonder, like, what the...
But I mean, even if they're charging full price and I got it, it's got an indoor pool. It's in Toronto.
Yeah, and I think it probably helps to not really be too...
I've never been to Toronto, but I bet it's great. I've heard it's great.
It's on the top 3 for me that I haven't been to.
Have you ever been to Canada? Or because of the Stars trip. Outside of the Stars trip?
Yeah, we went to Vancouver. She and I did, and then went to Whistler.
Yeah, of course.
But I've been to Ottawa.
Well, that was just Stars trip.
I've been to, but Montreal, I can't recommend Montreal enough. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, I'd like to go.
Where else did we go?
Maybe one day.
Maybe that was it.
Big old... See, the thing is
Calgary,
that I would like to go to
I'm pretty
Montreal and I would like to go to Vancouver, but like it's not like it actually makes sense to pair those two.
No, not at all.
They're very far apart.
Yeah, it's
like it'd be like being like New York and LA. They're big cities.
I would say
a quick New York LA vacation.
Probably the 2 biggest geography errors that I made whenever I was like in, when you first learned about literally any other country or continent. Mm-hmm. Now, these were not the 2 biggest gaps in my knowledge. They were simply the 2 names of places that I knew existed that I was wrong about. Mm-hmm. Were that basically Canada and Africa reach kind of like state size.
Okay, that's what you thought, yeah.
And so like South Africa and like Northern, I mean, what is that? It's probably it's like Oklahoma to Kansas or something. Mm-hmm. And that no problem, Toronto to Montreal must be at most.
I think that their neighborhoods are the same place.
Yeah, I'm positive that at that age, I thought, I mean, how far apart it's Canada?
That's a great question. You know what? I mean, obviously
But that was totally only when I was 7.
Antarctica, you thought was long and thin.
Yeah, it's holding everything up.
That's a classic one. I don't know if there's a kid alive who didn't think that the first time they saw a map, but I don't know. I don't remember any other continents that I thought were the size of states.
Yeah, well, I may be the only dumbass, but.
No,
I still think you talk to people now who probably underestimate the expanse of Canada.
Probably. At their own peril.
Yeah, I don't. I have an icky feeling about that one. There's no. You would think that if there was a business deal that had gone bad regarding the Toronto murder, or somebody who was out to get him,
like surely if you're killing a billionaire on purpose, it's for a reason.
Yeah, and
like there's going to be a follow the money. Like there has to be. Like
even
why
if the
do you
follow
kill
the money
a billionaire?
isn't money, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Even if it's just okay. Well, he was in love with the wife, or he had. I mean, that's just extremely, extremely odd.
But I mean, to the best of my knowledge, they did not say who the person of interest was or why they were interesting. They were just like, we do have a person of interest. This is something we announced. Oh, the family hired a private investigation firm, and all they said was that they announced the investigation was done, and left it at that. So I don't know if they. I mean, I haven't read full articles on that. I just read the articles about the person of interest.
Okay, let's play this out. In a situation like that, if the
last December the family's private investigation ended, but Toronto Homicide Unit said the police investigation remained active.
What would you think would happen in this scenario? Family pays a ton of money for private eyes, private eyes come back with what they think is convincing evidence that this was a murder-suicide. Family says, we don't believe it. Private eye says, let me show you how I can prove this to you. And the family says, either we don't believe it and you're done, or okay, maybe that is what happened and we're done. But we have no onus
specifics about, because I mean, you know, whatever, this is circumstantial kind of thing, but I do recall pretty swiftly, because this is like where I remember like the initial news. I mean, it was only 4 years ago, but I remember the initial news of like these two people have been found dead. Like that was news the next morning. And then it was, we think that it's a murder-suicide. And then there was like a full cycle of people being like, no fucking way. Like, these people are too happy. Like, it's like, they're fucking billionaire philanthropists.
That's a very poor refutation of that idea.
I understand what you're saying, but don't you feel like there's people in your life that if they killed themselves, you'd be like, no, they didn't?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely, but I've also seen...
I think that matters for something. Like, I think that's evidence to weigh, in my opinion. I know what you're saying, of like, people are capable of darkness that we would never suspect. That is true. It's been proven to us a number of times. But it's still like those are the outlier cases. I want to know whether or not the friends are being like, yeah, you know, I mean, he was a good buddy of mine, but had some stuff in his heart that, you know, seemed to be eating at him.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, though, that's the flip side of like...
I'd say most of my friends.
Yeah, something's eating at him.
Yeah.
That's like the flip side, though, of when we used to talk all the time about people wrongfully accused or convicted of like, boy, I don't know. I mean, him and his wife he jokingly used to call her a fat bitch. I heard that on multiple occasions. And then now he's on the stand whenever they're at her murder trial, like, yeah, he called her a fat bitch.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's the end all be all, but it was an important bit of information. And then the police said that there was physical evidence indicating that it wasn't.
Okay.
Like that, there was something about ligature marks, like that the way that
I hate that I kind of know what that word means now.
I know, right?
Like I could have gone.
Never used in a good context.
No. It's
like
always
whenever kids are using jump rope, you're not like, good ligature there.
no.
It's just always
We need to
after
take that
it's
word
been
back.
used as I'll let them have ligature
Because I swear
I don't need it.
It's 25 times per episode in The Night Stalker.
Yeah. They're just saying ligature
Over and over and over.
Yeah.
Like so much so that when the next murder would happen, I'd be like, please be something else. Like,
yeah.
I'm tired of the...
Just the classic hammer.
the blunt force.
Yeah.
I'm going to read you one more quick thing here.
Okay.
Did you read the gas stove article that our friend Matt Bruning tweeted out?
I am aware of the entire thing. I have not read any specific articles.
Okay, so the only reason I'm reading this one to you is just because...
I'm worried about the fact that we have a gas stove. Worried is a little over, but I would tend to... In our next house, I would prefer that it be electric.
Well, I think what they're talking about maybe is not even just electric. I'd have to find the specifics for you here, which I don't have in front of me. Anyways, I just wanted to read this part.
Yeah.
Just because I used to love this back in college, and these are places that would, especially in Texas, where internships were pretty easy to come by. If you wanted to do a PR internship or an advertising internship, and in fact, I have a family member who used to run one of these type of places, or he was at least employed there. So Southern California Gas, that's a distributor, one of the biggest distributors in the country, set up a group called Californians for Balanced Energy Solutions.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Well, a website that makes no mention of the gas company or the group's industry links. In the Pacific Northwest, a group of gas and pipeline companies put up $1 billion to establish another front group called Partnership for Energy Progress.
Well, I mean, that sounds good. I do like energy progress.
Yeah, well,
partnerships
how about we
in
partner
neutral
up?
term. Yeah, okay.
Energy? You into that shit?
Yeah. Might go to their meeting later.
Done deal.
Partnership for Energy Progress.
I will be there after I get done with my friends from California. They're more about solutions on balance in the energy space.
Yeah.
They're
unbalanced
Californians.
stuff, like, dude, can't have it.
I just love that sort of and dude, and I remember the first time I ever heard anything like
Have
this.
they ever considered not naming it something that makes it sound like that's what it is?
But that's only not just only to us, but the average person who sees their website and is maybe a voter that doesn't have a ton of time to figure out what's behind this. They're like, oh shit, this website is dope. There's nothing on here about Southern Californian gas on this website at all. They're just giving me some cool facts. This is just like a pamphlet on my computer. Love a good pamphlet.
Great, yeah. Love your information.
Do you remember like the first time you learned about, I think I've probably shared this anecdote before, but a PR or ad class with a dude, might have been day one, like put up the slide of 6 cancer organizations and was like, all right, you guys heard of these? But they all kind of sound the same. And you're like, I think all of them. And then he like hits one button and it's like, this is the percent that each one of these organizations donates, you know, that they don't keep basically. And it was like, you know, from 95 to 5 across the board, but they all sound exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just it's literally the South Park manatee getting bubbles with words like progress, peace, information, cancer.
Those are the Family Guy manatees, sir.
Okay, but from the episode,
but whenever you say
Family
it that
Guy,
way, you're going to muddy the waters.
Okay.
People are going to think that South Park's made by manatees when Family Guy is made by manatees.
Remember the time I was having tea with Mr. T? All right.
The whole business is that there are no standards for indoor air. Like, you know, the EPA or whatever regulates outdoor air standards, right? But there are no indoor air standards. But if there were, almost certainly every time you run a gas stove, your house would be in violation.
It would trip it?
Yeah, like shit's bad for, I mean, you know, whatever. You're not dying. You know, like everyone's lived with gas stoves this entire time and the current life expectancy is in the 70s. So like, you know, with all these things, anytime someone's like, you know what's silently killing you? I'm like, nothing. I'm still alive. But it's something to watch out for. No, I just wanted to end with, I've got a small update on how's my drone doing.
Okay.
Retrieved from the neighbor's roof.
All right.
Richard brought it over to me. He knocked on the door, said, missing this? Something like that. I don't know. You know, you remember this? And gave it a look-see. It does turn on. All of the motors spin. Only 2 of the rotors are still attached.
Okay, you're probably not getting those back. And
we actually did hand back like the broken ones.
Oh, wow.
But, I mean, you got rotors getting broke. That's normal, of course, a drone. It came with.
That's just drone shit.
Yeah, dude. People know. You got to run through some rotors, dude. But yeah, one of them, it like ripped off the thing, and then the gimbal's wonky. So I'm here to announce that we will have a further update. Because I dropped about $100 on parts. I'm going to take a run at it this weekend, see what we can't do.
Talking about a little DIY?
Talking about fucking pulling up YouTube.
Drone it yourself?
Just the way Megan Thee Stallion told me to. Diving into some DIY. I think we mean different things, me and her, but we both are doing DIY.
Okay. I know which one I'd rather watch.
Yeah, no kidding. That's where we are. Thank you.
Droning and boning.
Yeah.
Later.
We'll see you.
That's it for tonight. The high school special is next, so until tomorrow, for everyone who's been a part of this one,
I'm TC and Jake.
We do thank you for watching. Good night.